So let me run this code first. Okay, I will run the coffeeshop.py, and then if I run this, then you will see this form. Okay. And then let's say I'm choosing the Americano, and then I would like to choose the hot, and then I'm going to, yeah, if I click this one, then it means take away. If I do not click this one, it is dine in. Okay. And then I would like to have the quantity, let's say 2, and then if I click add, then everything will appear in this table. Let's say I have another menu, black tea, and then I would like to use the ice, and then let's say I'm going to take away for that menu, and then I want to buy only one. So if I add, it will be added in this table. And if you look at the file, it only has one row, one Americano, ice, sign in, 1 and 3,500. So we still have only one transaction in our database. But we want to add these two transactions into this report. Now we will do more on this order button. How can we do something? So if the user click order, then we will add these two transactions into the report.txt. So I will close this one and let's check. So we finished until this part. We already create the report1.txt. And then we assume that the program has the text file. So that's why last time we create this text file. If there is no text file, the program cannot read any prior transaction. It means if you don't have the file, then there will be error in the program. That's why we created the report1.txt. So we assume that there is already one transaction. So this is one transaction. In this data, I can say that the transaction ID is number 1, and then the sequence ID is 1, and then the menu name is Americano, and then the next, I know that the user or the customer choose ice, and then for the next, I know that the customer dine in, and then the quantity is 1 and the subtotal is 3,500. And every of this is separated by comma. Okay. We are going to create a report. So in order to check all the orders, the manager would like to build a financial report. So the financial report will extract the data from the database. So this is the database. This is our database now, the report1.txt. And we are going to show it into the table. Now, let's create another user interface. So this user interface, we will create this order report.py, and let's open the GUI designer again using the external tool, and then we will select widget, and then put all the components in the next page into the GUI. So we will have the table, and then we will have two labels. Okay, let's make a user interface. I will go to this project. Okay, I will go to the GUI, and then again I will click the external tools and then I will create the Qt designer. Okay, I will do the Qt designer again. And then for this problem, I would like to select the widget. Okay, I will select widget. I will select the widget and then I will create it. Now I have this widget. Okay. So now let's look at the order report.ui. We are going to make three kind of widget. The first is table widget. Okay, let's check table. So there is a table widget. We can click and then we can move to this form. So you can arrange the size and the object name is table widget detail. So you can modify in your properties. So here in the object name, you can change table widget detail according to the object name. And if you look at the text, okay, so I mentioned here, you can double click on the table widget and then let's put those names. Let's put the name. So I double click on this table and then you will see a pop-up. So you can put column and row. In my case, we can just put the column. How you can add more column? You can put the plus. So with the plus, so we will have the first column is trans ID. And then the next column is just ID. The next column is menu. And then the next column is ice or hot. The next column is dine in or takeaway. The next column is quantity. And the next column is price. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. We will have 7 columns. We have 7 columns here. Trans ID means the transaction ID, and then the ID is the sequence from the order, and then we have menu, we have ice or hot, we have dine in or takeaway, and then we have the quantity and then price. So if everything is okay, then you can click OK again, and you will see this one. Oh, why? Oh, why it is not means? Let me change again. ID. So transaction ID, ID, menu, ice or hot, dine in or takeaway, quantity, and price. Okay. So everything is in the table. Now you can create the next widget, which is label. So let's choose label. I will make the label here, and the text name is total income. Okay, I have the total income here, and the object name is label total income. Okay, the object name is label total income, and then I have another label, and I can put on the right section of the total income, and let's just put the name as text label, and then this object name has the name label income. So I will copy and paste and put here. So we have label income for the object name. Okay. In this order report, we have only 3 widgets. After you finish with this 3, let's save it. Okay, I want to save it into the project. In my computer, I have the Python project, and then I have the folder GUI. Now let me just put the name order report. Okay, then you will have a file name order report.ui in your PyCharm. So you will have the order report.ui in your PyCharm. Okay. After you have this order report, let's make the file, let's make the Python file. So by now, I hope you already know how to make the Python file. So there are 2 alternatives, as I mentioned previously. You can use terminal. So if you use terminal, means you can run with this command. So the order report.ui will be translated into Python file. But if the terminal does not work with you, you can use the external tool. So the external tool, you have the PyUIC, the one that I explained before, and then change the file name, which is the order report.ui, and you want to translate it into the order report.ui. So for now, I'm just using this one. Okay, I will use this terminal command. So I will open the terminal. I hope you still remember the terminal is in the bottom part of the PyCharm. And after I open the terminal, I will run this code. Okay. Python -m py35.uic.pyuic. I want to convert the UI from the folder GUI, and the output will be .py, and it is also located in the GUI folder. So basically, you can change the file name. Okay, so you can change the file name as you want. So if you finish with this one, then you will see that it will be a new file, which is order report.ui. Okay, so this will be the order report.ui. Okay, I hope that you can follow this step. Now, let's create the main function. So this main function is different with the main function in the coffee shop. In this main function, we just have a class, and then we want to create the user interface. But the user interface will not be executed from the PyCharm. So we will execute this one later from another kind of user interface. So I will copy and paste this one. So I will put it in the most below part of this section. And then you will see there will be an error. Okay, there will be one error. What is this error? So I updated the PowerPoint. Okay, so if you get the newest PowerPoint from the e-class, you will have this one. So sorry, last time I didn't put this detail. Okay. So you need to modify the function name. So UI form 02. So it is to avoid the redundant name, the same name with the coffee shop.py. What does it mean? So if you look at the coffee shop.py, what you are going to do is you are going to open the UI form. Okay. This UI form is the name of the class in this coffee shop.py. In order to avoid the redundancy, because you are going to put those forms as a sequence, okay, because we are going to have a sequence, it is better to change the other class name. So I'm going to go to the report.py. So now I'm in the order report.py. In order to change this one, okay, you can go to the upper bar. So change this class name. I'm going to change with the word 02. So change this name. And then after you change this one, there will be no error. It means I'm going to create the user interface from the class name UI form 02. Okay. So this is to avoid the redundant name with the coffee shop. I will explain more about how we can connect from the coffee shop to this order report. The next is we need to add additional code in the bottom of retranslate UI. So you know already the function retranslate UI in this order report. Let's make this additional code. So okay, this is the function retranslate UI. And then let's put more additional code below of this function. So I'm going to read the file, and then I'm going to add into the table. Okay. After I finish this, I will go to the next. I'm going to add a new function. So the new function is to read the file. So read the file is the same with the read file from the coffee shop.py. It means we are going to get the data from the report, and after we get the data, we are going to show it into the table. Now I'm going to copy and paste this one. So the function should be in the same line with the function of retranslate UI. Okay, so make sure that the line is in the same line. Okay, make sure that the line of this function is in the same line with the read file function. And then please make sure that this indentation also the same with this indentation. So Python is very sensitive with the indentation. After I have this read file, let's go to the next function, which is add into the table. Let me just copy and paste first, and then I will explain it later. So I'm going to put also in the same line. So I'm going to put the function in the same line of the previous function. So we are going to put the table, we are going to put the data into the table. So let's see the details about this comment later. And after we have this, actually, yeah, all the function things for this user interface. So we have only 3 more functions in this script file, and then we want to put the data into the table. Now the problem is, I want to connect between the coffee shop and the order report. So the two forms are interconnected. If you click the order button, so if you click this order button, it will show the financial report. So this is the financial report. If you close the report, then it will go back to the form, the original form. Okay. Now, how can we do that one? So if we click, we can move to the form. First, in the coffee shop.py, we need to call the class in the order report. So what is the class? So I would like to call the B window. And this is from the order report. It means I will put this statement in the coffee shop.py. So I will open the coffee shop.py. In the upper part, I can copy, I can paste this one. So it shows that the coffee shop.py will get the order report, or we will connect to the order report, and we are going to connect with the P window. What is this P window? So if you go to the order report.py, this B window is the class name. So we are going to call this class name from the coffee shop. Okay, now let's move on to the next. So add more code in the coffee shop.py. So in the coffee shop.py, I would like to put this code. So this code is to connect. Okay. So if I click on the push button order, I will access the open form. The open form is a function, and we are going to open the B window. So we are going to open the next window. So I will copy and paste this one. I will copy and paste and then put it into the coffee shop.py. And I'm going to put it in the main window. So if you look at the example that I gave here, so if you do the same code with me, you will have the class main window. Okay. And then I put the code here. So I put the code before calling the main and after this setup UI. So I will do the same. After this setup UI, I put this code. Okay. But if you look at the PowerPoint, please pay attention on the indentation. So the class will be in the same line. This statement will be the same line with this constructor. Okay, please align this one. So maybe I will just copy and paste again this one, and then I will delete this. I put this one. So the structure will be like this. Okay. The function, and then this is a statement. So whenever you click the push button order, you will connect to this function, and this function is to hide the current form, and then open the B window, which is the next window, and then execute, and then show the window. Okay, so this is just to show next window. Now let's see if I run this. Okay, I have the ice americano takeaway, and then I add this one. And then let's say I have another menu, cafe latte, ice, and takeaway, and I add. Then I will have two menu here, americano, ice, dine in. Oh, why it is dine in? Should be takeaway. Okay, anyway, let me check later. And then I'm going to order. So if I click the order, then it shows this transaction. What is this transaction? This is the original data that we have. And then this is two additional data that we just add before. Then we have three because I just add two more order. And then if you look at the total income, now I have the total income, which is 3,500 plus 3,500 plus 4,000. So it means the total income is the total price that we already got. If you close this form, then you will return back to the previous form, because that form is dependent with this form. So the limitation of this user interface Yeah, after you do this one, yeah, you cannot do more transaction. You need to close before you do another transaction. And if you look at the file, the report one.txt, now you can see that there will be two more orders. In this case, this is the order that we just had. Okay. So what you are going to do is to rerun all the steps and then make sure that you can run the code in a correct way. So yeah, if you have a lot of transactions, then you will see many transactions, and then this is the total income that you get from all the total that year. So let's see if I add one more. If I have another order ice, and then let me just do this one. Okay, I have one. Okay, or if I don't check this one, it is takeaway. Okay, so if you dine in, then you click this one, and then I'm going to order it. So there will be a new line, and this new line is the order that I just did. So this is the takeaway, and then we have the price is 3,500, and then this is the total that we can get. And if you look at the text file, you will see there is a new order, which is the transaction number 3, and then this is the first order. So if you see in the transaction 2, we have two orders. The first order is Americano, and the second order is Cafe Latte. And yeah, this is the detail. So we want to store every detail in the report one.txt. Okay, so if I close this, then it returns back here, and then if I close, then it finishes. Now let's look at the code in detail, because you need to understand all the codes. In the coffee shop, you have the setup UI. So the setup UI is the UI preparation. It means you will set the label, you will set the combo box, you will set the whether it is ice or hot, or we want to select the ice, we want to select the hot, we want to select whether it is dine-in or take-away, we want to select what is the quantity, and then we want to see what is the price, and etc. So you already did this one in your GUI designer. So you don't need to care about it. It means that if you correctly design in the GUI designer, then everything will be fine. There will be no error. If you try to create this step by step by just coding like this, maybe it is too complicated. So we can use the GUI designer to do this. But the remaining part is you need to understand how to run. So after we have this user interface, we want to translate the UI, or we call this is to show. We show in the form, and we show for every of these items. So we show the combo box. We can see the option Americano, Cafe Latte, and black tea. We can see the label. whether it is ice or hot, and then we can select whether it is the ice. If it is ice, it will go to the radio button ice. If it is hot, it will go to the radio button hot. If it is about dine in or take away, it goes to checkbox dine in. And then you have the label quantity, label price, and the label price tag. So all those are the variable that you already create in the UI designer. And after that, yeah, I have a function, I have this statement. If I click the add button, okay, then we will set this text as add. If we are dealing with the order button, we have this text. If we have a cancel, we have this text. So I didn't put anything on the cancel, but we understand the add and order. This one is to group the radio button ice and the radio button hot. If I click the add button, okay, so this push button add means the add button. If I click this one, then let's add the data. That's why you will see that every time we click that button, the data will be added into the table. So here, if I click the order button, then I will do write file. So I will write all the transactions into the report 1.txt. For this total price will be set up as 0 at the first time. So in the add data, first I'm going to read the file. What is read file? So there is a function read file. In this read file, I am going to read the transaction from this report 1.txt, and then I'm going to split it. So last time we learned about the split. So every time we split with the comma, then all the element will be split. So this will be a separate element. And then for every element, this one, it will be in the list. So we will learn more about this one. And then I will append the elements into the data. So after I read the file, first I need to check how many rows do we have in the table. So I put this comment, prepare the next row for the new data. So if I have already one row, then I will prepare the next row, which is +1. So I prepare another variable, new data and select data, with empty list. And then I have another variable. Let's say this is for the dine in or take away. So if the checkbox is checked, then it is dine in. If it is not checked, then it is take away. I'm going to put every data into a list. So the combo box menu, current text. It means if I choose Americano, then the word Americano will be saved into this list. If I select cafe latte, then the word cafe latte will be saved into this list. The next is check button group. So what is the selected button group? If you select ice, then the text of ice will be inserted into select data. If you select hot, then the selected hot will be added into the select data. And then I will append x. X is the variable that we have this one, whether dine in or take out. And then spin quantity. Spin box quantity means how many Americano or how many capillary that we order. So the subtotal, we need to check the price. What is the price? So first we need to get the data. What is the data that we have? So we need to select the first menu. Okay. So I go to the set price. So the set price is this one. If the menu is Americano, then let's set the price is 3,500. If the menu is cafe latte, let's set the price 4,000. If the menu is black tea, then let's set the price 3,800. And we will return the price. After we get the price, we want to multiply with the quantity. So let's say I buy Americano. Americano price is 3,500. How many quantity that I buy? So if you choose one, then the subtotal will be 3,500 multiplied by 1. If I buy 2, then it will be 3,500 multiplied by 2. That's why it will show 7,000. And then I'm going to put this subtotal into the select data. And because all of the data will be in a string, so you need to put the str. And the total price will be added by the subform. After you have this one, now I'm going to put all this data into a variable new data. Now it is the way to put this data order into one variable data order, because your order can be more than one order. After I have all this order, I want to put it into the table, and we are going to put from the list that we have, which is this new data. I'm going to put the data from the list by first looking at the number of rows. So if the number of rows is already 1, then I'm going to put into the next row, which is number 2. If I already have 2 rows, then I will have another rows, which is number 3. If I already have 3 rows, then I will put in the rows number 4, and so on. And then I will do this enumerate. The enumerate means I will make this data list as the index in the table. So we will learn also a little bit about this one. I will make this data with 2 for loop. So you already understand in the matrix. In the matrix, this is a kind of matrix. This is a kind of table. So the first is about the row. We want to insert the row. And then we want to insert every of the cell, every of the column. Here, I will set the item. The item will be, the first is the index. What is the index? This is the index 0. This is index 1. This is index 2. This is index 3. So it means it is about the row. So we want to insert the item in the particular row. And J is the column. So what is the column that we want to insert? And then what we are going to insert is the cell data. The cell data is every data that we have from the data list. So we put all the data into the table, and then after that resize the columns to the contents. So if the content is long, then the table can be resized according to the string size. And then at the end, we will set the text in the label price tag. So for the right file, okay, we have the report. I think last time I mentioned to you, because the order is only two. Sorry, the order, if you look at this one, the order, sorry, this form has limitation. You need to fill in the us and ice or hot, and then at least that one, so you can have this result. If you look at this one, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we have 5 columns. But what we have in the report 1.txt, we need to understand which transaction it is, and then what is the sequence. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we are going to add those numbers. So that is the role of this function. So if the data is less than 6, let's insert the transaction ID, and let's insert what is the sequence of that order. And then we will put those of them into the data order. Okay. After we reformat this data, then we want to write it into the file. Okay, so this is the reformatting the data so that it contains the transaction ID and then what is the sequence. So in this case, this is the transaction ID number 2, and in transaction ID number 2, we have 2 orders. The first order is Americano and the second order is Cafe Latte. Okay. Okay, I think I will stop first. Let's have a break. I will continue after the break.